Hi, welcome back to my little process of walking through the book of Joshua. I am up to verse 2 at the moment in our video chat because I just couldn't get past verses 1 and 2. That's how deep I was. I'm at chapter 3 now, or chapter 4, but at the start I couldn't get past verse 1 and 2. So let me read it for you again, verse 1 and 2. It says, "And after Moses, Yahweh's servant, died, Yahweh spoke to Joshua son of Nun, Moses' faithful servant," or his faithful assistant, "and said, 'My servant Moses is dead. Now get up, prepare to cross the Jordan River, you and all the people. Lead them into the land that I am giving to the Israelites.'" That's just verse 1 and 2. So I got stuck in verse 2 because a couple of years ago we went through a church death, I guess you could call it. Our church died. And that was just before COVID, and it caught me by surprise. It caught all of us by surprise, I guess you could say. But it caught me by surprise that my church had died. The things that I thought was coming, the things that I thought that God was going to do, stopped. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to process it. And so I guess I sat there in verse 1 and 2 and I was like, that's me. That's my journey at the moment. The old died and God was saying, okay, the old's dead. Now get up. So the thing about God talking to Joshua, and he said, "My servant Moses is dead," there would never have been any lack of understanding from Joshua that Moses had died. He knew Moses had died. He knew that Moses was going to die because he blessed them all before he died. He passed on things to Joshua. He talked to the Israelites about things that were happening. Joshua would have known that Moses was dead. And I thought, well, why is God telling him, like, he's dead? There would have been a period of mourning for Moses, all of those sorts of things. So it wasn't that Joshua didn't know that Moses had died. Joshua knew, the Israelites knew that Moses had passed away. So I thought that was a bit rhetorical for God to say, "My servant Moses is dead. Now get up and go." And I felt like the Holy Spirit was saying to me, there's a period of time where we can grieve, a period of time we can process, we can question things, we can ask questions of God about the things that have died, about the things that have ended that we didn't realize that they were ending, or that they should have ended or shouldn't have ended, all those sorts of things, all those questions that we have as humans. We ask those sorts of things. And it was like God was saying to me in verse 2, okay, you've had your period of grief, you've had your period of process. Now you need to get up and get going. You need to move. You need to get organized. And so, yeah, it was like he was saying to me, it's time to let go of the old and move into the new. It's time to stop sitting in what has been and prepare to get ready for what's in the future. You can't hold on to the old. You can't hold on to the dead things and walk into the new things, the alive things. You can't, death and life, they can't be partners. They can't walk together. Dead things can't be with alive things. It's spoken about in the Bible all the time, in the Old Testament, that death and life, they don't have any part of each other. And so we sit there and we assume, as we process and transition into this new thing, that we can still cut our old things with us. We can cut our old dreams with us. We can cut our old perspectives of what it's going to look like, of what we thought it was going to look like, and it didn't end up looking like that. All those sorts of things. And I just felt like for you and for me that God gave us a period of grace. He gave us a period where we could grieve, where we could process, where we could come to reality about the dealings of our hearts, which is a confronting thing, especially when you're in the middle of a pandemic straight after that happens. And even when we're in the middle of a pandemic and all the churches shut, it brings us to that place of, what are we doing? Are we here? Are we having church for God, or are we having church because that's what we do on a Sunday? All those sorts of different things. So churches were shut down for on and off for, I don't know, they're still being shut down on and off as we go around. But I think in the midst of it all, God used it. He used it to draw us back to Him, draw us back to a relationship with Him, made us realize that we had some stuff in us that probably wasn't great anymore, that stuff that we had clung to, that we shouldn't have clung to instead of Him. It gave us all a great wake-up call. I think it gave church a wake-up call, gave the body a wake-up call. And so that's part of all that sort of stuff. So it doesn't matter whether it's your church has died, or you haven't been to church during COVID, and you feel like you've lost your relationship with the Lord. That's the place where you can begin again. That's the place where that period where the grieving has come and it should be going now. It's time to step into the new. It's time to get ready. It's time to get up. Like He says to Joshua, "My servant Moses is dead. Now get up. Prepare to cross the Jordan River, you and all the people. Lead them into the land that I am giving to the Israelites." Do we want to walk into the promised land? Do we want to move into the new thing? Well, we have to stop holding on to the old, stop grieving what we've lost. Process, yes. Grief comes for a season and then it goes, and sometimes we like to hold on to it because we're poor me's and we like to. It's hard getting rid of that stuff. It's hard dealing with things that you thought were going to happen and didn't happen. It's hard. I know it's hard. I'm not sitting here all pious and saying get over yourselves and move on. Like, I've walked this road multiple times, and this time has been the hardest time I've ever walked. And I've seen everyone else that was attached to it walk the hardest road I think any of them would have ever walked. And so I just feel like we need to check ourselves and see where we are at in our process. I don't want anyone to miss the new thing. I don't want anyone to miss what God is about to do in our midst. So please listen to the Holy Spirit. Ask Him what He's doing in your life. Ask Him to pinpoint areas that you're still holding on to, or ask Him what's going on in your relationship with Him. Go back to the beginning. There's nothing wrong with going back to the beginning and starting afresh. So that's my little blurb. I could probably say more because there's always so much more. So till next time, I hope you get some comfort out of it, some help out of it. If you've got questions about it, put the questions in the thing. If you've got opinions about it, please put them in the thing, but keep them nice, because we all have our own perspective, our own take on things. So I hope this blesses you, and yeah, have a great day.